Here it is, the rental car. I'll go ahead and insert a clip now as to why we needed this. Okay, why we needed this rental car. So, everyone knows my father's car is in the shop, blah, blah, blah. He's supposed to be getting a loaner car, and they're working on it. Yeah, that's a crock of crap. So we had my mom's car, and we had my car. Well, Wednesday, the 2nd, I was driving back from my vocational school. It's about a 20-minute, 25-minute drive back to school, my high school. Park at my high school, get out of the car, and notice there are two enormous puddles under the car in the front. Now, I would like to preface this by saying that I have been noticing multiple spots in the car where it has been dripping onto the ground overnight. Multiple. And I never addressed it. Well, I grabbed my shop towel out of the trunk, checked these out, and they sure as hell smelled like coolant, and they looked like coolant. I checked my coolant recovery tank, which is always low, because this car, I'm convinced, has a coolant leak somewhere. And it was low, as usual, but not abnormally low. So I texted a picture to my dad, and he basically said, you need to get that fixed. Long story short, very, very, very long story short, we had the car towed to A&D Repair, which I had them do some work before. I've made a video about them. It is still there. Today's the 3rd. We don't know what's wrong with it yet. They haven't called yet, even though they told us they were going to. So long story short, because we now only have one vehicle, we're trying to borrow one from somebody, but we only have one, we need to rent a car. So, I have been driving my mother's car because I need to go places, and my father has been driving this rental car because he needs to go to work. My mom doesn't really go anywhere, so it's fine, whatever. This is from Enterprise, and the Mirage is the economy class. For $5 more, you can get a Versa for the compact class. And he was like, okay, let's just do that versus a nicer car. Well, they didn't have a Versa at the time. So basically, his options were a free upgrade to a Mitsubishi an Outlander Sport, which he looked at me and didn't like because it gets bad gas mileage, I guess. I don't really know. And so I was like, yeah, I guess just take the Mirage then. It can't be that bad, right? And he's like, all right, let's do the Mirage. That should reduce the price, right? And they're like, yep. And that is how we ended up with a let me say it like the guy at Enterprise, a Mitsubishi Mirage. I'm not kidding. That's literally how he said it. Anyways, let's take a look at this Mitsubishi Mirage and see this wonderful piece of automotive technology. Yeah, so he didn't want a Mirage, but he got one, with Iowa plates nonetheless, and they're not even on evenly. And it's a stupid flat plate, it feels plasticky, it's got tape on it, and there's no mount. But anyways, I will say, for a compact car, this thing is pretty well equipped. It's not terrible looking. It's riding on these Falcon brand tires. They are 165/65 R14s. They are absolutely tiny little things. And they have these little hubcaps that I could probably pull off. Not a bad color. It's not terrible looking. I prefer sedans personally, but okay. I could see the appeal for this, and I definitely think that there is a market for cars like this. Little backup camera just stuck on there. Enterprise, we got this from. 2022 model. So brand new. Keys here, real basic little Mitsubishi keys. Show you the tag. When you unlock it, the daytime running lights come on. It's pretty nice. And then of course when you lock it, they go off. And then obviously one click will unlock the driver's door. You can lock and unlock the driver's door from here. Lock there, however, it doesn't lock the rest of the doors. It only controls this one. So, pretty big door. It's just a door, it's fine. It's not horribly built, you can see a screw there. No colored locks, as Doug DeMiro likes to point out. Door handle's pretty strong, though. The seat is cloth, obviously. It's pretty firm. Not terrible contouring. I'll scoot it back since it's where my dad sits. It's pretty well in there, too. It doesn't really move all that much. You can see the exposed bolts. Manual height adjustment. All right there, seat adjustments. The fuel cap, which pops right open. That's funny, it's a different color in there. Wonder why. I do find it funny that it's a different color in there. I didn't notice that. Mitsubishi Motors, January 2022. All the info. That's for the seat. It has Mirage floor mats, which are bolted in. One thing I noticed is that this does not have a steering wheel lock, which I'm not surprised by, but it is still interesting to see a car without one in this day and age. Mirror controls, traction control. It actually has cruise control that is laser activated. It has, what do you call that? Variable distance cruise control, adaptive cruise. You can rotate the vents like a Toyota. Headlights, which are halogen. The brake lights are LED. Rear view mirror, which you can see out of fine. Tiny little sun visor that is very cheaply built. You can hear the roof, little light. I mean, it's a cheap car. What do you expect? The mirror seems pretty solid, though. Guess I'll go ahead and freaking start it up and freaking let it run. Yes, that was the fuel pump. It's also not, it doesn't know when it's been on recently, so it'll do that. But just listen to this fuel pump, and yeah, the chime changes. Listen. Not exactly the most refined thing in the world. One thing I don't like is that there's no armrest here, just a cup holder. The e-brake, which is manual, I like that. And 2 cup holders there. I'll go ahead and start it up now. Try not to get blown away. It sounds like an 83 Chevy Chevette starting up. And as you can see by the door, yes, it's vibrating the door. The whole seat is vibrating. Yeah. Power window. Little crappy horn. Steering is really easy to steer. Pop the hood here. Cruise control, which you can see with the button, it adjusts the distance. Currently is sitting at, once it sits, now, is that right? Oh yeah, that is right. 260 miles, I guess, till E. Has a lot of information here, which is pretty cool. Average fuel economy, that's great. 11,000 miles. Which isn't too bad. It does have an electronic gauge or information display.
One of them is Cindy's.
Why is it set to? Let's change that.
Toy deals. Like buy one, get one.
I want some music. That's what I'm looking for. Roll the window up. It's not a horrible stereo. Surprisingly enough. Climate controls, which are automatic. Start it like that. Temperature right here. It sounds like a goddamn microwave. Air conditioner here. You can hear it kick on. Auto. Whole car moves when you turn the air on. And then this is the recirc button. Defrost. Radio controls there. It's Bluetooth. My dad has it paired. Turn the hazards on. I don't think it has daytime running lights. It doesn't. I'm not surprised. But yeah, I turned the headlights on so you can see it. Interestingly, it has fog light controls for the fog lights that it doesn't have. That's always fun. Halogen headlights. Try not to lose your pants here, but this is a 1.2 liter 3-cylinder engine, and this is a different color. Look at it shaking. It is insane how unrefined this engine is. The hood is shaking as I hold it. Yeah. Fit the whole goddamn engine in this frame. Look how small it is. I'm sure it's easy to work on, though. But god damn. Yeah. Not great. I'm not sure what trim level this is. I think it's like an ES or something. Just the running lights on the back. Turn signals. I'll rev it up a little bit for you. It literally sounds like a car with an exhaust leak. Listen to that low end part. Do you hear that? I'm not bashing it, it just sounds like it's gonna fly apart. The red line is actually white. It does have an adjustable steering wheel, believe it or not, although it kind of just drops down like the Nissan Versa Sentra we rented. No telescoping. Blank gauge with no temperature gauge, but the gas gauge is there. It's only banging because it's in a driveway. It's just a shifter or whatever. Does have a reverse camera with non-moving lines. It's about 240p. That whole assembly moves. Roll back a little. And it does have a little thing up here to show you what gear you're in. Windshield wipers, which, believe it or not, this thing has intermittent wipers. Can you believe it? That this thing even has that. It's got a rear wiper, which says intermittent, but it's, oh, I guess it is intermittent. Wash it like that. That sprays beautifully. Or like, it sprays so freaking out of target, it's insane. The front ones, that is anemic, but we can wash the window anyway. What else? I'll show you that in a minute because it's cool. USB adapter, power outlet, you know, all the standard crap. This moves a little. Window lock, which, yep, you can't adjust it. It does have adjustable seat belts, which is nice to see. Pretty responsive. These don't feel like they're going to fly out of place. We got to rev it one more time, I'm sorry. I can't. I can't. It's too funny. Little pedals down there and everything. At least they're pretty responsive. I'm going to shut it down here. Did you hear that rumble when it shut off? Undo that. Back here. The back seat, this is positioned about where I would sit, maybe even a little farther back. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and adjust this to where I would sit because I want it to be accurate. I'd probably sit a little farther up. This is all the way back. Yeah, that's probably about where I would sit. Maybe even a little farther up. Yeah, that's probably it. Yep, okay. Now that I've moved the seat to my actual driving position, so you can see, because I sit about where a normal person would sit, maybe a little far up. Back seat looks okay. Has a middle seat belt at least. Getting back here, the whole car moves. Little door. Believe it or not, it's not terrible back here. I can lean down and get plenty of legroom. I'm 5'8". Adjustable headrests. Headliner's kind of cheap. My head does touch back here a little bit, as you can see right there. So it's a little cramped headroom-wise, but otherwise it's not bad. Not a huge opening distance either. It does have child locks though, in case you want to kidnap a child. I'll show you the trunk. Trunk is tiny, as to be expected. You can put the seats down. I'll do it on this side like this. You pull them, and then they unlatch. You gotta just... That one's not gonna go all the way down because the passenger seat's too far up, but it's not a flat load floor, but it does give you a little more space. Still so small that I can reach up and pull these back up. That sounded great. Oh, the seatbelt is supposed to be over here. Got a little latch. this piece of carpeting doesn't really fit that evenly either. And under here we have the spare tire. And there's pieces of crap hanging off of there. A little light. Pretty strong tailgate though. This seat is all the way, oh wow. This seat is all the way back, and as you can see, once I'm back here as an average sized adult, not really that comfortable, and my knee can go all the way into the seat, but yeah, I'm pushing up against the seat, so not the most comfortable if your passenger or driver likes to sit all the way back. Short trip back here would probably be okay, but anything long, I'm going to want to be there. Finally, up here, nice panel gap there. The front doors are real big. No armrest. It's just a seat, and yeah, the lights do dim when you close the door. I believe they will go off if you, yep, and then do that. Goodbye knees. What I love though is that in this manual, they give you an entire first aid kit, a Mitsubishi pen, a tire changing guide, and all these different books about your Mitsubishi. I can't say I see a lot of other car companies that still do that. That's actually pretty impressive. Move this seat a bit more forward because my dad sits, he is short and sits very far up. He drove it to work today. He said it was terrible. It doesn't ride great and it's loud, so, you know. Does get good fuel economy though. Oh yeah, and this is funny. There's a little plaque right there with like the VIN code and stuff. So, in conclusion, I wonder where this was built. I wonder what M is. Maybe Thailand, I don't know, or China. I know J is Japan. In conclusion, for a car of this class, I don't think this is too bad at all. For how cheap these are new, if you just need basic, reliable, efficient transportation, this is it. You really can't get much better than this. I will say, if you spend a few grand more and get a Honda Fit or a Toyota Yaris, you will probably be happier, being that those are a lot more refined and they kind of engineer out a lot of the drawbacks that are like associated with a small car or a Corolla. So if you really just want cheap, basic transportation, this is the ticket. It's not refined, it's not quiet, it's not smooth, but for the fuel economy this thing gets, which is upwards of 40 on the highway, maybe even 50, not really sure, you really can't beat it. Thank you for watching. Feel free to subscribe and click like if you like what you see, and follow me on the web, wix.com/theelevatorworld/fans. Bye-bye.